Hello and welcome to Ladies Who Question. Oh boy, do we have a special guest. This is kind of a let's talk local, I guess, but because you're not really a small business person, Mr. Abendshien, a name that will become very familiar to you listeners very quickly. But, well, you wrote a book that people are going to be really interested in, and I know that I just jumped all over it. Welcome, John Abendshien, the author of
Home But Alone No More.
Home But Alone No More. Every time I was looking at this, and I even wrote it down, I went, wait, it's Home But, and then Alone No More. I'm so excited to have you here, and so is Holly.
Well, thank you. It's a privilege to be here. I'm delighted to do this.
Well, he's the Home Alone guy.
I am the former owner of the house that was used for the movie and lived there for 22 years following the release of the film, and I have a story to tell.
Oh, yes, you do. I informed Holly. I said, I went to a program at Gorton. I was really excited to see this because I'm very interested in how films get made. I've been on a number of film sets, and I was always intrigued, by when I would see the finished product or if I made the cut or, which often did not. But I thought, gosh, this guy's really seen the guts, how the sausage is, made.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought your presentation at Gorton Center here in Lake Forest was really well put together. And then I thought, this guy's got some sort of a backstory as a speaker or some kind of, and then when I started to read your book, I thought, and you have quite the background of healthcare strategy.
Right. But I'm anything but Hollywood, which actually, some people might find this a bit strange for me to say, but I was given with this whole movie thing what I call the gift of ignorance, which is to say, because I don't have a background in Hollywood or filmmaking, I was there observing the whole thing being put together. And I think, frankly, I was able to see a few things that the insiders weren't even seeing because I have, had that outside perspective. And even today, having had the privilege of talking with people literally from all over the world coming to see the house,
we both Holly and I have done that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just surreal that after all these years, 35 years now, people from all over are making the pilgrimage to see what I call this dumb house. I'd ask people
which you literally refer to it as this dumb house in the book.
I said, what? I asked chat people up. Well, why are you here? What is there about this house that brings you here? And what is there about the movie? And long story short, I think I've got a lot of insights into why this movie resonates with so many people of all up and down the age spectrum from all over the world that perhaps, again, maybe even insiders don't have the same perspective. So I had that privilege of just chatting up people from all over.
Can I just say a couple things, and then can we circle around to that? Because
absolutely,
I'm very interested in hearing that because it sounds like it's something from the heart that you're talking about that I could be wrong, but I have to say the illustrations in the book, especially that cover that Julia
Hagen, right.
She did here. Oh God, I didn't even show you.
Can I
Sorry.
see?
This is the front of the book.
Isn't
that how cozy is that?
Oh, that is.
Yeah, she did a beautiful job,
Look at this.
So warm and
how she incorporated like the church here in the background and some of the scenery from. Yeah, I was really taken with that, and certainly it just...
Well, she's a very special person in my life. Julie grew up in the North Shore, and she used to come sell Girl Scout cookies. I've known her, her family for years, and her mom and dad, and she used to sell Girl Scout cookies at the house when she was a kid, and so here she is now. She's actually, Julia is a fairly well-known artist now in the Chicago metropolitan area. She's the hot dog girl. She's famous for painting these iconic hot dog stand images, and she's had some media gigs sharing those. And
I'm not familiar with this, but I'm intrigued. I love.
You could look this up because she's had quite a bit of publicity the past couple of years with this, so she's had a lot of fun with it.
before we get into the 5 months of what I'm calling the occupation, which after reading about it, I went like, yeah, I see why it's like a siege, but in a wonderful way, sort of.
When did the book come out?
The book came out in September of last year of 2025.
Okay.
Yeah.
Doing
We
the
timed
rounds.
it to coincide with the 35th anniversary of film,
nice.
which was this
And what
holiday season.
promoted that? Like, you just always wanted to write a book about the
Well,
experience?
I frankly, but didn't until I kind of stepped down from my full-time work. I didn't have time to do
Okay.
this. So
Okay.
I pretty much, flipped the switch about 2.5 years ago and started writing the book. And then after a while, it almost started writing itself because the memories just kept flooding out at that point.
Your style of writing, I have to tell you, it was such an easy read because it was so conversational, the way that you were writing. People strive to be able to do that for years. And I'm imagining your other works are more technical. So I don't know how you leap to just the conversational style
You know
so well.
what? I'll be honest with you. It was a leap. It was quite a transition for me to make, going from writing. I've written several professional books and then to get into this. And in fact, I had a little schooling. I took a course at Lake Forest College and did some online courses just because memoir writing is so totally different from
I can
other
imagine.
kinds of writing.
Yeah.
And I had never done anything like this before. But I really appreciate your comment because that was my objective, to make it a warm, conversational, tone kind of style. And it's just nice to hear that feedback. People who know me and
good
know me
writing.
well say that when they read the book, they feel that they've got the audio version of it because they can hear me talking.
That's exactly where
great.
I'm going.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
almost feel that since I had spoken to you on the phone before I actually read the book, I did sort of have your voice in my head.
Yeah.
And that probably assisted. But had I not even, I still had the feeling that you were we were driving around in the car and you were saying, oh yeah, here's that house. And then, hey, let's just go around the neighborhood and I'll tell you about it. That's how I got it. That's the feeling that I got. And I'm telling you, for me, that's a high compliment because
thank you.
I don't say that a lot.
Thank you.
But
Is there an audible version of the book?
There is. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's for me because I
Yay!
do podcasts all day. I'm driving around. So
perfect
I
for
will-
you?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
You can get
great.
that. You can get that on Amazon.
Okay, perfect.
Both the paperback and the audio. Yeah. Right.
Okay.
And you voiced that as well, right?
No, did not.
Oh, you
I
did
didn't-
not.
I did not.
Rats.
I did not voice the audio. book.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay.
okay.
You'll sort of have his voice in your head.
Right, because I could see your voice. I could picture it too, how Lisa read the book.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You moved to the house in January of 1989, and you stayed for at least 2 more decades till 2009-ish.
Yeah. 23 years.
Yeah, so
we were
23.
there.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did it get chosen? Because I'm going kind of by what people were interested in at Gorton at that. And I don't want to give away too much of what's in the book, but there's plenty in the book. But how did they approach you?
Yeah, a good question. And there's been so much about this that has been just totally bizarre in a serendipitous kind of way. Because prior to living in the Home Alone house, we owned a home in Evanston. And you might recall the movie 16 Candles. First major John Hughes film. That was with Molly Ringwald. And that was filmed just down the street. So we had fun watching that movie being filmed. We didn't, some of the exterior scenes and so forth. And then several years went by, and then we had a knock on the door, and it was John Hughes' location manager saying that they were scouting for another movie that they were getting ready to film called Uncle Buck. Okay.
Oh, loved that one too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And would we be interested in having our house at least put on a list of possible homes for that location? And we declined on that because we had just purchased the home in Winnetka and getting ready to move, and I didn't want to tie that house up in a movie shoot for 5 months while I'm trying to sell the house, So we declined on that. But in the process, the location scout came up and looked at the Winnetka house. So,
So they're like, wait, we don't want you for this one. We're still looking ahead because you have good taste? Or?
yeah,
Right.
well,
Right.
I I have surmised, I don't know this for sure, that John Hughes and I had similar tastes in architecture. And there's even a more bizarre coincidence that I didn't know about even at the time. Before we purchased the Winnetka house, we did some exploring in Lake Forest, okay? And there was a house that we were really considering putting a bid on, but at the time I was commuting to the Loop. And that's a long haul,
Right.
okay? And I decided Winnetka, that's a 30-minute, it's just an easy commute downtown. So we decided not to come this far north. I found out later that the house that we had considered putting a bid on was the house that John and Nancy Hughes purchased.
Oh, I've been in that house.
I have too.
Yeah, because it was one of the designer showcase houses.
Yeah.
Oh, you do have similar taste
Yeah,
because
so
that's an awesome
That
Yeah.
is
abode.
such a serendipity.
coincidence.
Like-
You guys are on the North Shore. I mean, it's a small community. I mean, there's
Right.
just so much, connection that we all have. But anyway, there was a whole thread of bizarre connections that led to the selection of our home for Home Alone. And in between, I'm not going to share it in detail, it's in the book, is a certain opus called Chevy Chase National Lampoon Christmas Vacation.
yeah.
Oh,
That was also part of the link. Okay.
But that was John, somebody else. That
Was it John?
Landau. He passed away.
I don't
but was
remember.
John Hughes part of that?
Yeah, he was part of that.
I didn't
yeah.
know that. Okay, maybe he was
Wow.
writing for it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
And so anyway, there's a kind of a bizarre set of connections there that kind of led to.
So they were going to use you for that too?
No, not for the main site, but for
Oh.
one of the peripheral locations. Yeah.
wow! They really followed you up and down the
Yeah,
North
exactly,
Shore.
Exactly.
That's
yeah.
really that's cool.
It was really destiny that your house ended up being in probably the most wildly popular Christmas movie of all time.
classic.
Besides,
Totally. Yeah. Totally.
the one with the angel. I can't think of the name right now. Anyway,
It's a
go
Wonderful
on.
Life. It's a Wonderful Life.
That's it. It's a wonderful life. Yeah. Okay, so eventually they approached you and they said, knock, knock, knock. Hey, so we've got this other movie, and you consulted with your family, and you had a young daughter, correct?
Right?
Yeah.
She was 6 at the time, or 5 actually back then. Yeah, right.
What a fun trip for her.
Yeah.
Macaulay Culkin wasn't that much older than she was.
Well, little Kieran Culkin,
Kieran.
Macaulay's little brother, was about the same age. Kieran was 7, and my daughter was 6 when the filming started. And they became good buddies because Kieran, he just was scampering around the house like he was part of the family. I mean, he didn't have much to do in the film. I mean, his on camera time was very limited.
Yeah,
so,
he was the bedwetter.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that because that look when they threaten, the Macaulay's character Kevin with like, oh, you have to sleep with whatever the
Brother's
Kieran's
name
friend-
was. Yeah.
and the kid
Fuller
rolls
was his name. Yeah.
Oh, that was okay.
Fuller. Yeah.
Yeah, and he kind of rolls his eyes like, "It's me." Yeah, I'll never forget that look, thinking, "Oh, that kid's going to be a good actor going forward if
But
he even knows what he's doing."
if you've seen Succession,
Oh yes. Loved.
and then his recent movie, Real Pain, which he got an award for, which is just a
I saw that.
2024 movie. It's fantastic. It was hard for me to kind of connect him in that movie, or even in Succession, to the little guy that we knew growing up.
Yeah, I mean, very different. I mean,
Yeah.
he's a big boy now. Yeah,
And during that
very different
time, we
character.
wondered seriously, does this little guy know what's going on here? I mean, seriously. And later on, he admitted that he didn't.
he's
when,
5.
When he
Yeah.
when he did a look back,
His brother was in the movie, and he was kind of just bouncing around.
Right.
And he
Yeah.
came from a family with a lot of kids too. I think.
Yeah,
I think the Culkins had.
There were a bunch of them.
So I don't know if I should leap this far, but I just want to touch on the media. They started saying, "Oh, there's a movie here, and we want to find out what's going on," or because it was John Hughes' film, and he'd already, attained a lot of acclaim. So were they bothering you even then? Because I want to get into the visitors portion of this.
During the filming itself, we had almost nonstop media on the property and at many times in the house. It was a pretty open door.
Wow.
Most of them were extremely polite and deferential to me and my family. It was
Well, they're
not
professionals.
a
I mean,
problem.
the media.
There was a gentleman from USA Today that practically camped out there.
Oh my
And
goodness.
he was a really nice guy, and we became good friends. I mean, it was not like I felt like he was an intruder anymore. And so, in fact, I was interviewed by USA Today before the holidays and was reflecting back on that,
Was it the same writer?
No. He's long since retired,
Oh,
Yeah, this is 35 years ago,
Yeah, I forget. Yeah.
Right.
I forgot about that. So it went for 5 months. So when did the filming start?
It started in about mid-January of 1990. And there was a glitch. A lot of people don't know this. It's a 20th Century Fox film, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But Warner Brothers was the original studio. My original contract was with Warner Brothers. They bailed out after just a few weeks and said, we're out of here, and pulled the plug on the movie. In fact, everybody was getting ready to take down the sets and, pack up and leave. But then the studio put it in what they call a turnaround, which frees it up for another studio to pick up. And 20th Century Fox picked it up at that point. I have to wonder to this day, this must be in moviedom an infamous case study for Warner Brothers, having turned this down after getting it all set up and then pulling the plug on it. It's
yeah.
there must have been a lot of second thoughts about
And
second
what a
thoughts about
success it was.
it. Exactly. So.
Like, oh, darn, we
But-
missed
but-
the
but
boat.
I'll tell you something else, and if you read the book, you get into my head a little bit. Now, I'm not a movie guy. I'm not a Hollywood guy, and I read the script, the original script. I still have a copy of that, and as I'm reading it, I'm thinking, this is just the most preposterous, over-the-top, goofiest thing I really, as I expressed in the book, I said, this is nuttier than a squirrel convention.
That's a good one.
And I truly thought this thing was going to be a bust. I described it as a cinematic train wreck. And you know what? After the movie's premiere, a lot of well-known critics pretty much had the same reaction I did. So what were we all missing? I mean, that's the point.
And-
Were we all missing? And
Right.
it took me a while to pick up on the genius of John Hughes, and he was playing master 3D chess with all of us and our emotions, and the way he does that. And
Reading a script is very different for somebody who doesn't understand how that plays.
totally.
It's complete. I mean, you have no idea the vision outside of the words and what A leads to B to C. Yeah, I can see why
Totally.
you were concerned. But you'd already signed the contract, so
I'd
you're
already signed the contract.
getting the money, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
no, I wasn't going to dump it, but it's. I really, truly, and even after it did well in the box office, that first, that opening season, I thought, well, that's probably it. It's going to
it's
fade
over.
off into the sunset, and but no.
You hear actors' interviews and stuff, they'll say, "Oh, I didn't think it was going to go anywhere," and then it's the biggest thing around. So. That's the business. It's a goofy business.
Yeah.
Depends on what the season it drops. Depends on what's going on in the world. It's crazy. I'm telling you, I've been involved with a lot of the stuff, and it'll make you cuckoo. Really, if you let it.
Were you living in the house during the filming of it?
Yes. Tell everyone.
Yes. So many people ask that question, and the studio was very generous. They gave us a beautiful, fully furnished apartment in Glenview.
Oh, okay.
However, we didn't stay there. We went there. We were there. I don't think more than 3 or 4 nights, and we thought, this is boring. There was so much excitement going back on the home front that we decided to move back into the house. And so we had a large master bedroom suite. It was a large bedroom, and then a sitting room with fireplace and study and so forth.
That was on the second or third floor?
Second floor.
Okay.
So we converted that into kind of our what I describe as our movie cave, kind of our apartment within the house.
And they allowed that?
Yeah, they were fine with it.
Oh, wow.
Because they were very well behaved.
Yeah.
Okay,
well,
that's
we had
why.
to stay well behaved, and,
Yeah.
and we were reminded of that occasionally. You have to keep out of the camera, and there were times, especially during the night shoots, where they backlight, the rooms, where we couldn't walk around. Because our silhouettes would be, our profile would be on the camera. So literally we had to crawl under the window line, to get from room to room.
Do like an army crawl?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like a GI crawl. And so that didn't happen all that often. But no, for the most part, we were like, I would describe myself as a free range chicken. I could, if people were not on the set, chat them up. And what I found out about actors is that they really love talking to a normie, and they enjoyed chatting, and I learned a lot about their private lives, their personal lives, and they learned a lot about me, and became good friends. And
That's great.
Yeah, nice people. I mean, seriously. And what really struck me though is that when I saw the finished product for the first time, I'm seeing the film, as all films, was done in pieces that are not chronological.
Right.
In other words, they will film a given scene depending on what actors are available or the weather or you name it. I mean, all logistics. So I did not see the completed product until we saw it was a premiere, which was down at the 800 Michigan Theater down in the city.
Theater,
Oh,
where
nice.
used to be theaters there. Yeah.
And
Okay.
in fact, that was just a stone's throw from the place we used to live when we first moved to Chicago. And anyway, that was quite an event because we had, I had never been anything like that before. It was not like, walking into a movie with everybody with buckets of popcorn and so forth. The people were all suited up in cocktails and, and,
Like a red carpet.
Yeah,
It's a
red
fun
carpet.
affair.
And a lot of celebs. We were introduced to then Mayor Daley and his wife Maggie, and in fact, we sat with them in the theater.
Oh,
then.
wow.
And when people found out it was our house, then we became celebrities.
Of course, I was gonna
we had
say.
questions all over the place. But anyway, it was the first time I'd seen the finished product. I couldn't believe how true to form the characters on the screen were to the backroom personalities that I had come to know. I mean, Catherine O'Hara is just the quintessential mom personality. In fact, she and my 6-year-old daughter just were like that. I mean, but she was that way off the screen, and then she came across on the screen too as fierce at times. But
that's the role, right?
That loving mom, and that's the way she came across in real life.
How about Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern?
Oh my gosh! Well, Joe Pesci, Joe did not spend a lot of time at the house. He had an RV that he was using as a place to stay, and Joe was famous for showing up a little late for calls sometimes because it was a very mild winter and he was out practicing his golf swing. He would go to a local course.
Oh,
and,
boy.
he was. He was known for that. And Joe, as a method actor, is very stepwise. He's as the word implies.
Stay in
he's
character.
Okay,
he follows.
yeah.
And in fact, one of the things that he did that we all noticed was that he kind of deliberately stayed away from Macaulay. And we found out later that's because he didn't want Macaulay to have that good old Uncle Joe vibe. He wanted him to come across as a stranger to him. Now, Macaulay wasn't the least bit fazed by that,
Yeah.
But be that as it may, but the Dan Stern, Marv Merchant's in the film, Dan was the funniest guy off screen you can imagine. I mean,
Which one was he?
He was the wet bandit.
He was
Or,
the
well,
wet
they were
bandit.
both the wet
Oh,
bandits,
right,
but
right.
he's the one
Okay.
who plugged the hole and said,
Right.
He goes, why, and Joe
was the
Pesci
other
goes,
bad guy.
why are you doing that? He goes, because that's our trademark. We're the wet bandits.
Yeah.
Just like flood the house.
Yeah, Harry Limes, that was Joe, and then
Okay.
Marv Merchants was, but Dan, was just in, off screen or off camera. He was just a mischievous guy. I mean, he'd love to have fun with the kids, and he'd tell them stories. And no, he was really a neat guy. And
Some good casting there.
Oh, yeah.
and that's another thing. Dan quit too early in the filming.
Quit?
And they had a little negotiations dispute, and then he came back in. I think it was the transition to from Warner Brothers, and
to Fox.
The studios,
there was
yeah.
some issue. I can't
Maybe
remember
they weren't willing to
exactly.
pay him as much or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Yeah. But
And
your contract got picked up by Fox,
It was
obviously.
just totally
right across the board.
picked over. Right.
Got it.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
go on.
Yeah. So anyway, and in the book, I don't want to get into it now because I want people to read the book, obviously.
Yeah.
But there are a whole raft of things that could have spelled disaster for this movie. I mean,
Well, all those crazy stunts.
yeah.
Which,
I mean,
you know,
it's just, and there was just a lot of, and it's just, but here we are. I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
And
well, I want them to read the book and read about your part when you're sort of talking about the stunts
Oh
and
my
stuff
gosh.
because I had to put it. I was like, oh, like remember the part with the nails and stuff?
Oh, yeah.
that
Yeah.
one. Oh, I like. Eh.
yeah, and
They seem so real.
And just
Yeah.
and just for our audience here, just to make the point that we take so much for granted now with computer generated imaging, and but this was before the days of CGI, so these stunts were real. I mean, and they were crude, many of them, very
Oh,
crude.
yeah. I remember them.
And there was a lot of potential for harm done to the actors, and it all came out well. But I can tell you, there were just times when director Chris Columbus and stunt coordinator Freddie Heiss, I think, practically had a heart attack during the filming of some of those scenes.
The sled.
Wow.
Dear God.
Oh, going down the stairs?
How, yeah, I mean, how? Or no, what was it? Was he on the sled? And then he went out the front door. Because I was remember watching that film, going, "How did that work?" Because it obviously did not. It was to the side of the door,
Right.
and I don't go into it because it's in the book.
Yeah, it's in the book, and
Yeah.
and believe
But-
me, there was just a near total train wrek with that scene.
Yeah, near calamitous.
Yeah,
Wow.
I mean, seriously.
I want people to buy the book because I want them to read all about it. At the Gorton Center, when I heard you speak, I was the one who, I asked a couple goofy questions, but the one I asked about the furnace, I was like, I got to know. I mean, I was in my 30s when I saw the movie, okay? But I was like, oh, that furnace is so scary. Or tell people about that. I already know.
Well, I just in case anyone's losing sleep over this, and I'm certainly not. That was not real. The actual furnace in the home was just a standard boiler operation, very boring looking.
So it didn't open its mouth and go,
It was
Right,
not
right.
a man-eating furnace. In fact, that particular scene was done. A lot of the interior scenes were done on a soundstage at what was then New Trier West High School, which was out of commission because they had low enrollment that year, and so they opened it up for the studio.
Okay, so
to
they
use.
filmed some of the
So they
scenes.
did a lot of replicas of the rooms there.
Okay.
In the gymnasium actually.
Wow.
And it was kind of a weird experience for me. You're walking through your 3-story house with no stairs. You're walking from one story to another just across the floor.
wow.
I mean, yeah.
just a shout out again to your illustrator. She sketched out, didn't she?
Right.
Those,
She's got that.
the sets that
Yeah.
they had put together.
Okay. In the book?
Yeah.
It's in the book,
Oh,
her
great.
sketches of how they laid it out, and it'll help you visualize
Yeah.
what John is talking about with regard to whoa. So this is of that, and that was filmed here, but yet you'd swear it was done in his
Because it
home.
was such a
Yeah,
great
even
duplication.
for me, they did such a great job of editing it. Raja Gosnell was the main editor, and it blends so much that to this day, when I'm watching it, I have to really focus on it to tell which was done where. I mean, it just
Wow.
all melds together, and they did a beautiful job of it.
I want to ask about the neighbor, the older man.
Old Man
Was it-
Marley.
Old Man Marley.
Was
yeah.
he an actor, or was he really the neighbor?
No, that
in
he was
real
an
life?
actor. Yeah.
Okay, because I've heard rumors that it was really your neighbor.
No, it was
And I'm like,
an
okay, I don't
actor, Robert with an S, Roberts Blossom was his name.
Okay.
Who sadly passed away a few years ago.
Right, I remember that.
He was an actor, and no, it wasn't.
Okay.
Well, I have to say that sort of leads me because of him, the character that he plays, and what he brings, his character and the sub scene around what he brings. That brings us to what we want to talk about with regard to what I would call the Home Alone parallel that you have with this entire movie, with this entire experience, and the heart that John Hughes brings to the entire film and that film experience. The Marley character, I thought, tied it up so beautifully. Just like, okay, Home Alone, he's alone. Do you mind going into a little bit of that about your childhood stuff?
I will, and kind of a weird parallel here. I grew up quite literally home alone. I know that sounds kind of dorky, but my father passed away of a hereditary disease when I was 11. My mother went back to work evenings and nights as an RN at the local hospital, and I had older siblings already in college, so I was there home alone, and literally. And from the age of 12 on, I basically did all the basic things, did my grocery shopping, fixed my meals, got myself up in the morning.
Wow.
Like Kevin.
Did all that, just like Kevin. And as I share in the book, and John Hughes seemed to have an insight into this, kids are amazingly resourceful if they're left on their own. And I think that's part of this, what he was trying to convey. I mean, people think that scene of Kevin going to the local drugstore and trying to get a toothbrush is goofy. Like, my kid wouldn't do that.
Right.
I did it. You'd be amazed what kids will do when you're not around and hovering over them all the time. And so that's kind of a connection I had to Kevin's story. And also, I'll be honest with you, I really valued my independence and my freedom. I mean, I was a free-range kid.
It's really a gift when you look back on it, isn't it?
And I point out that I didn't live next door to, but I lived next door to a psycho cocktail waitress who made old man Marley look, pretty average.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, she was crazy. And so anyway, there's that parallel. But another thing I want to add, though,
I just realized he doesn't have his headphones on.
We know none of us do.
None of us do.
I know.
This is insane.
I realized it a while ago.
Oh my God.
I was wondering.
Yeah. Okay, that one's yours.
Oh my God.
I know.
This is how drawn into the conversation.
I know.
We got in right away.
Okay, here we go.
We were all very captivated. Well, at least I was.
Yeah, we started
for myself.
with a bang.
As you were saying.
Oh, okay. Do we have to start all over again?
No, we're keeping this in.
Yeah.
I think this is.
It's real.
I think it's actually in sort of outlines kind of where we have been with this conversation so far.
Well, another thing I wanted to throw in about the scene with Old Man Marley at the church, and then the closing scene, that was not in the original script. Chris Columbus dubbed that in.
Wow! I'm glad, because that's magical to me.
It's magical. That just puts the bow on the whole.
Oh yeah,
thing.
That's what I'm saying.
And, yeah, absolutely. I think that is one of the most moving scenes of any movie. I mean, I think that just really, of course, at the same time, Kevin's getting reunited with his family. So there's that whole theme then of family conflict, tension, separation, anxiety, and and then closing with reunification and love. And that puts that movie in a nutshell when you think about everything that's
almost makes me cry.
I just felt that even watching this movie years and years ago, I thought, oh wow, that ties it, just puts the the bow on it. It would just absolutely.
And this also underscores how incredibly well matched Chris Columbus and John Hughes were. John Hughes directed almost all of his own movies prior to this. This was a real change for him to delegate that.
To hand over the reins for the directing,
Exactly. And, but, Chris just did a marvelous job, and the two seemed to really click, and it came out great. And I can tell you, at least in my observations from having watched the two interact, John never came across as heavy-handed or anything. I mean, I think he gave Chris a lot of rein.
I think John knew exactly what he wanted, and he picked the man who thought similarly.
Yeah, I think so.
And Chris Columbus, from my very limited interactions with him in the distant past, what a delightful human being.
Chris is just a wonderful spirit. I mean, I describe him in the book as having the spirit of a kid, but the disciplined mind of an adult. It's kind of a rare combination. But yeah, he was just a delight to get to know. And we got to know his wife, Monica, who was a flight attendant in the movie too. And then Monica's dad and Chris's father-in-law was in the movie. He was one of the arresting policemen, Officer Devereaux.
And they take the wet bed and
the
it's
end.
away.
Which is his actual name. Clark Devereaux is his.
Oh, they used his real name.
Actors. Yeah, yeah. And you may remember the scene too, where Kevin is walking down the block and he's wistfully looking at this family having their holiday. So he's looking into the windows.
Oh, yeah.
That's the Devereaux family in there. Chris.
Oh, the real family?
The real family.
Oh, my God.
Chris had
I love
them
it.
shipped in. They lived in River Forest, and he had them shipped in to do that scene.
That made them feel really special.
Yeah.
Isn't that a special tidbit to know, though?
Yeah.
I mean, and this is why. I told her, I said, we've got to have him on a
There's
podcast.
another Devereaux tidbit, too. You know, you're familiar with the famous church scene.
Oh,
okay?
yeah.
You know, Kevin goes to the church and he meets Old Man Marley there and so forth. Well, most of people around here know that church was not in Winnetka around the corner from the house. It was, they think it's in Wilmette.
Oh,
Because they used the facade of the church in Wilmette there at the corner of Lake and 10th. However, the interior is in Oak Park. I think it's
remember?
Episcopal, but I can't say that for certain. And that was the Devereaux connection there in River Forest next door. You know, that they had inquired about using the Congregational Church, which literally is around the corner from the Home Loan House.
That's the one I thought they used
and that's,
for this, until right now.
Yeah, that's the home that, the church, rather, that my family and I attended. And from what I know, I wasn't personally involved in this, they had posed a query to the church to
use it? Okay.
And were turned down.
Okay.
I don't know any more than that. But,
Well, they missed out on their 5 minutes, or in this case,
Right.
a lifetime of
35
fame.
years.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's so interesting that everything about the movie and you owning the house, the media, it's all feel good. There's nothing, it sounds
Yeah.
like, that was not great that happened during the whole experience, and everybody and all the different components involved.
Well, that came after, right? Maybe you want to talk about
Yeah, I was going to say.
That's a good segue there, Holly.
Yeah, and people have often asked me, well, would you do it all over again, knowing what you know now? And that makes me reflect on how fortunate we truly were with the cast and crew that we worked with. I mean, we didn't work, but that
you were
that we were part of, what happened in the aftermath, though, is a little different story because I just assumed that once the film was completed, it'd be one and done, you know?
Right, okay.
And I had absolutely no concept whatsoever that the house itself was going to become almost a character in its own
It
right.
has.
I mean, seriously.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And furthermore, I thought that, maybe this will be an okay box office the first year, this first year out,
Right. We'll
and then it's
we'll
gone.
deal with it the first year.
Yeah, then
Right.
it's gone. So in the book, I share, how our lives changed from the time the movie was, that first weekend it was released, and we became, as I describe it, inhabitants of a fishbowl, with a public fishbowl, and with people coming from all over. And then even that first year, I thought, okay, it'll be gone after the holidays. Then after the holidays, it kept going and going. And I thought, well, okay, just this year, No.
Did it go the entire time you lived there?
Yes. Oh, yes. And it's going as strong now, if not.
Right. I was just there.
Yeah.
That was brought to his attention there was at the Gorton, I was a little put off by that. I know you know who I'm talking about.
Right.
The fact that it was disruptive and and I'm sure some of my neighbors had, an issue, but they were generally really great about it, And then this woman, when it was Q&A time, she made it her point to be heard, let's say. And I guess she still lives down the street in that same house.
Honestly, I don't think she lived there during the filming.
Well, then what was her
I
Beef.
well, I think the current traffic.
Oh, she lives there now.
That was my impression. I can't
Okay.
say that for sure.
Okay.
I can't. But I knew the folks that lived there at the time, and I just didn't recognize this lady. Yeah.
I kind of wanted to give her like a noogie or something, you know, like
She
you know,
knows.
don't harsh our you know our good time here, man. Like everybody was feeling good, and she did that, and then as she went on and on and on, though, I think people kind of went, "Oh, okay, she's that person."
She's Karen.
And then we moved on. But there was some of that.
Personally, I not that she was a plant, but I thought she added
That's what I thought.
a little dimension to it because she actually accentuated the positive, you know, the flip side of what she was saying, you know, that because, you know, people I think could tell I was being sincere, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I completely agree. Tell people how it went on though with you guys personally, like the Gawkers, like you're eating dinner.
Yeah, no, it really was very unpredictable. You never knew when you stepped out the door who you were going to run into.
Oh
or
my gosh.
Cameras, and of course, or in the early days, this was before digital technology, so you had the flash bulbs and everything.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
that's worse.
Oh, boy.
And you know, I tell people, how many times have you taken out your garbage to the street and it had paparazzi, you know, with the flash bulbs and so forth?
Did people go through your garbage?
No, they didn't go through the garbage, but just,
mean,
you
that's-
know, whenever I walked outside, you know, a lot of times, people taking
right.
It's the Home Alone guy.
yeah,
It's
Right,
him.
right.
Yeah.
Did they
And-
knock on the door a lot?
No, really not
Okay.
much at all. We had a little bit of that, but not much. But most people actually were pretty polite. And they
It was a friendlier time.
yeah,
Okay.
they stayed back for the most part off the property on the curb, taking photos, or from
That's
the
what
sidewalk.
I noticed.
From the sidewalk, and then later on, as I get into it in the book, I kind of went through this mental transition where I decided, hey, you know, don't fight it, go with it, and I started chatting people up. Where are you from? Why do you like this movie? And,
They
and so
probably
forth.
love
and so
that.
Forth. And just talking with people from all over the world.
Would you mind telling the story about the Japanese gentleman?
Yeah, well, this was it was a weekday. I was working at home out of my study, and I looked down, and standing on the curb was a very well-dressed, very distinguished-looking Japanese gentleman with a camera, and he was taking pictures. And so I don't know what got into me, but I went out and introduced myself. I said, "Sir, you don't have to stand down here. You can come up to the porch and so forth." And his English was impeccable. He said that he was just in town on business that particular day, and this was the top list of his. He said he was a bachelor. He'd seen the movie 5 times, and this was the top of his Chicago do-it list. You know.
Okay.
Cool.
So anyway, we had a nice conversation. Then he asked if he could take a photo of the camera or the family and the family pooch and everything. So we're all out there on the porch. So anyway, we exchanged business cards. You know, as he was leaving, and because I didn't really ask him, you know, what his profession was. He was chairman of probably the largest bank in Japan and possibly one of the largest in the world,
Oh my.
Bank of Tokyo. And
Whoa.
Back then, the yen was big.
yen was big, right?
Yeah.
So when I got back to the office, I called my business partner in our Tokyo office, and I said, "You can't believe you just my doorstep."
Isn't that crazy?
So we sent the gentleman a nice letter on our firm letterhead thanking him for the honor of the visit. And so
Oh,
forth. Yeah,
that is
yeah.
just, that's
Yeah,
a great little story.
It is a great, except for the makes me sad. He's single and he's watched Home Alone 5 times. And I
Oh,
like, you
but
know,
it was the light of his
buddy.
life.
Yeah, I know. It's like, buddy, you know, come on, you need a girlfriend or
American
a
movie
dog.
star. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's so. There's probably a lot of those like charming side stories that that you have.
Yeah,
that are in the book.
As I reflect in the book, I really did gain some insights as to why this movie resonates with so
And
many,
give us your
so-
thoughts.
so many people. Well, it's so much of it puts our family life in a nutshell. I mean, really, there's so much in this in terms of family dynamics, and Hughes was just a genius at, as I put it, kind of plucking our emotional strings, and he was able to do it across the age spectrum. There's something in that movie for everyone, whether you're a kid,
Yeah.
a parent, a grandparent, a neighbor. I mean, you name it. I mean, everyone's got a role.
Like a well-adjusted family, an estranged family, a kind of normal but kind of kooky family.
Everyone can relate to this movie in some way, you know.
Oh,
and
for
the other thing I'll say about it too, and this is true not only of Home Alone but his other movies as well. He filmed mostly on the North Shore of Chicago. He was not a Hollywood guy. In fact, he really pushed back on pressures from the studio to do more on a set or sound.
In Los Angeles.
Oh, a soundstage.
Versus-
Oh, yeah.
And he
Versus
really
here.
pushed back on that because he really felt that people can really relate to an authentic setting with a real life community setting, neighborhoods and so forth. And that's a hallmark of all of his movies. I mean, that was starting with 16 Candles, where people could actually kind of project themselves.
Yeah.
They could imagine being there. And I've had so many people on my doorstep telling me that when they're there, they feel like I've already been here.
Yeah, you can see it, feel it, smell it
Yeah.
when through the screen when you're showing things that are alive.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And even
Real.
even other scenes where, like at the grocery store, the drugstore, those are actual stores.
Oh, I've been in 'em.
That's what
Winnetka,
I've heard.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I think the grocery store now is like some financial thing or like BMO or something. I don't know. Anyway.
no, actually,
oh, no, it's an ice cream store.
It is the Grand. It is the Grand.
I thought it
Oh,
was
the
the Grand.
Grand. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm thinking of the
in
pharmacy.
Winnetka. The pharmacy, yeah, that's an interesting
I think
story.
isn't it Oberweis there?
That's
or
done.
Graders?
No, that's done in Hubbard Woods.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's across the street. You know where the square is, and there was an ice rink there at the time. It was a little drugstore right there in the square. It
was darling.
It's long gone. I mean, it got kind of pushed out by Walgreens, I think, and everything else. It was a family drugstore, and it was right there. And in fact, one of our neighbors in Lake Forest, her brother was the stock boy in that. in that
boy.
scene. Yeah,
That's so
yeah.
cool.
It's really a connecting.
So many connections.
Yeah.
And she was telling the story, not realizing my story, you know, and so we had fun with that. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I just
So do you have a lot of speaking engagements?
Well, this last year has been the 35th anniversary
Right,
of the
right.
of the film, and with the book release in November, December, nonstop. You know, I had
okay.
I was just privileged to have both local and national TV networks and
oh my gosh, and I can't. And here he's
lot-
deigning to be with us.
I know. Thank you so much.
A lot of podcasts and radio gigs and Canadian and New Zealand. And,
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
Yeah. So, and it's been fun. You know what?
Oh, good.
It's been fun. I'm at a stage of life right now where, I feel like, and I've said this many times, people are tired of hearing about it. I've been given a gift, and it's fun to share the gift. I mean, that's the bottom line.
The next chapter, and you got to do this now that you're not working. And
The gift you give yourself is that you've looked upon it as a gift and not as a burden.
Well, yes. I mean,
Right,
it could have
right.
gone the other way. And there were, for a time, I think I was headed in that direction.
headed to the grouchy section.
I remember that part of the book. He's going. What do you call it? You're Serious Sam? Is that what you call yourself?
Yeah, Serious Sam, right.
It's his sort of his alter ego.
Serious Sam took over for a while, and because people who know me, I'm pretty, everyday, grounded, analytical kind of guy. I'm not in Hollywood. I mean, I'll say that again. And so this was a totally different experience for me. But
well, to be in the business that you were in for your entire career in healthcare, which is a very serious business, you have to be a serious person.
well, I guess so. Yeah, and
I
and
think
had-
you do. At your level, you have to be a serious
yeah.
person.
And but there's some parallels because as I work with a client, a given health system. Locally, we have Endeavor, Northwestern, Advocate, and so forth, and that type of system was my client. But the thing of it is, I couldn't walk in and say, "Hey, you know what? I'm from Chicago, and I know about everything, so I'm going to tell you what to do." You have to really learn the culture of the organization, the personalities of the key players, and so that means a lot of conversation. Just like we're having now, and to where you can really get to understand how people are motivated and how they think. And so there are a lot of parallels, really, in a way. I mean,
Well, it prepared you for all of these
All this.
interviews.
Right.
I think it's helped. I truthfully think it has, and I've had some delightful hosts, and you guys are great.
Oh,
this was-
we are like so small potatoes. I
I
can't even
know.
believe.
Well,
I know.
This is such a
Here in
privilege.
Lake Bluff.
This is such a privilege, and I'll tell you why. I love Lake Bluff.
Oh, who
This is-
doesn't?
Right.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite all-time communities, and as I've pointed out, I've lived all over the map, and then locally in the city of Chicago, North Shore, up and down, and Lake Bluff is one of my favorite places on the planet.
well, thank
when
you.
when I'm here, and my wife and I come to the farmers market on on the season and so forth, but we like to hike around here, even during the year, And I know a number of folks up here. We do a lot of hiking around and over on the shore and so forth, and you just have a nice vibe here,
It is a great vibe, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
We talk about that with the people that we interview all the time, and they always agree. Even if they don't agree initially, we beat it into them.
Right.
That's right, absolutely.
No, but it's become quite destinational. I've been here for 33 years.
Yeah.
No, 36 years. 90. And
Don't ask me. I
Well, no,
don't do math.
You were 89. I was 90.
Yeah.
And I found this town by accident. My husband was transferred we were living in Los Angeles. We're from California. And I came kicking and screaming to Chicago. And he found this town. And I don't know if you know what it looked like 36 years ago. It was not much happening.
You probably did.
Oh yeah, I was
You
here.
know.
Not a lot, but no.
And I thought, oh gosh, I wanted to live near the lake. That was the whole idea. So it took me several years to get used to everything, but I couldn't be happier.
Oh, I fell in love with this place the moment I was here as a small child. My parents got divorced, and my dad, he was batching it here in Lake Forest, and I was 6 years old, and he's like, "Well, this is where I'm living now," and great adjustment, and well, it was a lot like where we had been living in Libertyville, and it was so quiet. I mean, I tell the story like literally, I could. Like where Innovasi is now, that intersection, my friends and I could lay down on the street and just go, well, let's see if there's going to be a car coming. And there usually wasn't. But, the ravines and the lake and I fell in love with this place. I just could never leave. I was just like, this is where it feels right. Yeah. And as we talk to other people, they think the same thing.
Well, I've shared how, my early childhood years were in this little town of Haven, Kansas, okay? And when I'm here, I have kind of the same vibe, which is to say, when I lived there, as a little small child, everybody knew who I was. And here I get the same feeling that not that everyone recognizes me, but that people know each other, and there's that connection that you have, and that's cool.
That's cool. And I think that sort of homey vibe, I think, carries over into the movie. So it's part of that human element.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Connection.
Yeah. Well, let's sell some books.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us.
You can get this book numerous places.
Lake Forest Bookstore?
Lake Forest Bookstore, Winnetka
great.
Bookstall.
Oh, Winnetka Bookstall.
Barnes and Noble, Amazon. Yeah, it's readily available. So,
great.
Barnes and Noble, Winnetka
Bookstall. Lake Forest Bookstore.
How about the Book Nook? Is the Book Nook still around in Glenview?
I don't know. That's a good question. I honestly don't know if it's still there or not.
Yeah. Home but alone no more. Home but alone no more.
That's right.
Because you were not alone ever again while
right.
you were in that. Am I reading that right?
You're reading that right.
Because there are always
the full
visitors,
circle.
I say with air quotes.
Yeah.
Right.
People peering in. Oh, no, I'm going to the bathroom. Could you please go away? Okay, John Abendshien, Abendshien. That's the name of the author, and that is The Home Alone Guy. And your daughter, I'm sure, is thrilled with all this. Is she helping you out selling books?
Well, my daughter.
You have four grandchildren, right?
Yeah, my daughter is really into the whole story, obviously, because she was part of it. She is a very, very busy trial attorney right now. So
wow.
She doesn't have a lot of time to do these gigs. She's done a fair amount, though. In fact, she has some strong connections in France. She's done French media. She's very very fluent in French.
gosh.
So, yeah.
Oh, and they
She-
would love that because they're flying to Paris.
To Paris, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, see the Parisian connexion. Oh, la, la. I'm loving it. Well, tell us what we can do besides, trying to promote the hell out of this. Whatever we can do with our little island here of podcasting, we will help you however
Well, thank
we can.
you very much. I'll bear that in mind. And you've already helped a great deal. It's just fun sitting here talking to you about
It was great.
You two are delightful.
See, isn't he as wonderful as I told you?
Oh my gosh. Well, I kept thinking about this ever since she told
Yeah.
me. Lisa said, I go, how'd you get him?
Well,
That's like celebrity status.
Well, it
I mean,
is
this
celebrity
is a celebrity for us.
Right.
We do.
It's a celebrity
Well, no,
period.
I know.
Don't qualify it.
I was nervous. I was like, wow.
I can't agree with that, but anyway, that's my opinion.
But I mean, you are celebrity status on the entire North Shore for sure, and then some, obviously. But I just loved how you curated your experience and how you present it, and it's perfect.
Well, it was just a wonderful speaking engagement, and I was totally and the reason we got him is because I just pulled about my
that's right.
usual Lisa chutzpah. Let's use
And
chutzpah.
when you said Lake Bluff, I said, of course. Yeah.
So that was the
sealed the
selling
deal.
point.
Seal the deal, right.
Thank you so much.
And thank you.
thank you.
both.
This has been lovely.
We
been-
really
been-
appreciate-
yeah, thank you much.
Anyway, again, thank you, and we're going to sign off
you.
now because this is a wrap, baby, as they say on the biz. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Okay, bye now.
Thanks, Harvey. Ladies Who Question is executive produced and edited by me, Lisa Dominique, and also executive produced by Holly Caulfield. Holly also does most of our research, and Claire Caulfield is in charge of technical assistance and social media. Music, My Lionheart. Sketch music by Florian Manx and Matthew Anderson. Thanks for listening. Please subscribe, follow, rate, and review Ladies Who Question on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. Send your thoughts to ladieswhoquestion@gmail.com. Follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Threads, and our website, ladieswhoquestion.com.
All content discussed on Ladies Who Question are the opinions of Lisa Dominique and Holly Caulfield and should not be construed as advice of any kind. By listening to this podcast, you agree not to use this podcast as advice of any personal or medical issue for yourself or others. This disclaimer also applies to guests or contributors to the podcast.